Hello again, everyone. It's Matthew from Port Stephens Library. We are going to continue on from our last lesson, moving on to Lesson 4, the Introduction to Scratch. If you followed last video, we'll have finished around here on our What Next page for Ghostbusters. So we just scroll down, and we'll see we're going to try out the chatbot project. So if you want to, you can test it out by clicking on the green flag. Then if you click on the character there, it'll say, what's your name? So Library Matman. Hi, Library Matman. Are you okay, Library Matman? Yes, that's great to hear. Do you want to go to the moon? Sure, let's go. Yes. Oh, we're on the moon. Very cool. So now we've seen what it'll do. Let's go in and do one ourselves. So we'll go here and click on the Try Out the Chatbot project. And it'll bring us up to the chatbot project. So now we'll scroll down, and in our introduction page, you are going to learn how to program a character that can talk to you. A character like that is called a chatbot, robot, or chatbot. What you will make, click on the green flag and then click on the chatbot character to start a conversation. When the chatbot asks a question, type your answer into the box at the bottom of the stage, and then click on the blue mark on the right, or press enter, to see the chatbot's reply. So we've just tested that, so we won't do that again, but if you want to, you can play around with that first. But now we're going to go into our steps. So what we'll need, like always, is a computer capable of running Scratch 3. We're going to use the online version. And if you need any files to download, you can click on them there. And then in what you will learn, we will use code to concatenate strings in Scratch. And that's a big word, but all it means is we're going to learn how to join different strings together, but we'll get to that in the project when we get up to it. And then know that variables can be used to store user input, and also use conditional selection to respond to user input in Scratch. Again, sounds like a lot, but all it is if you say one thing, it'll respond in a certain way. But we'll get to that in the project, and it'll be really easy. So, like always again, additional notes for educators, but with that, let's begin. We'll go into our introduction to our chatbot. So, in your chatbot, before you start creating your chatbot, you need to decide what its personality is. Think about the following questions. What is the chatbot's name? Where does it live? Is it happy, serious, funny, shy, friendly? Anything else you can think of? And what does it like and dislike? So have a good think about this, and then when you've decided what your chatbot's going to be, give that a big tick. Okay, and we'll scroll down to our first step in this. We'll open the chatbot Scratch Starter project. So with the online one, we just click on our link like always. And now that the project's loaded, we can see that it's a bit different from the previous ones, where it's actually a starter project with a background and characters already in here for sprites. So it's got up the top here, Chatbot by RPI Foundation, which is the Raspberry Pi Foundation. And then when we are saving our project, we'll just remix it to create our own one. So now that we've seen all this, we'll go back into our lesson up the top, change tabs, and we've done that. So we'll give that a tick and scroll down. So the starter project contains 4 character sprites. One of these will be your chatbot. You can either use the sprite that is already selected or choose a different one by clicking the one you want and selecting the show or hide eye icon from the sprite menu below the stage. So there's Terra, Giga, Pico, and Nano. So this is where you get to choose which one you'd like to use. So we'll go back in and we'll choose which character we're going to use. So at the moment we've got Nano on there, but I don't think I'm going to use that one. So I'm just going to delete Nano, and I'm not going to use Pico, and I'm not going to use Giga. I think I'll go with Terra. And just to make Terra visible, we're going to change it from the little eye with the line through it to show. And then there we are. Very good. Okay, so after you've chosen which chatbot character you want to use, we'll go back up to our lesson plan, and then we'll give that a tick there. We'll scroll down, and now we're going to move on to a talking chatbot. And now with the talking chatbot, now that you have a chatbot with a personality, you're going to program it to talk to you. So we're going to click on your chatbot sprite and add this code to it so that when it's clicked, it asks for your name and then says, what a lovely name. So these are the blocks here. When this sprite clicked, ask, what's your name and weight? and say, what a lovely name for 2 seconds. So let's do that now. So we'll go back into Scratch. We're on our sprite already. We're going to go into our events and grab our when this sprite's clicked. And now we're going to go into sensing, which is a new one that we're using. And we're going to ask, what's your name, which is already in there, which is good. And then we're going to go to looks and say, instead of hello, what a lovely name. Okay, so now let's test out our chatbot. So we'll click on our sprite there with Tara. What's your name? So we're just going to have Matt. What a lovely name. Very good. So now we're going to go back into our lesson and give that a tick. And now we'll scroll down. So click on your chatbot to test your code. When the chatbot asks for your name, type it into the box that appears at the bottom of the stage, and then click on the blue mark or press enter. So that's what we've done just then, and it's worked well. So we'll tick that one off there, but you can practice a few more times and try a couple of different names if you'd like. Now we'll go to the next step. Right now, your chatbot replies, what a lovely name, every time you answer. You can make the chatbot's reply more personal so that the reply is different every time a different name is typed in. Change the chatbot sprite's code to join hi with the answer to the what's your name question so that the code block looks like this. So we're going to add a join hi with answer just in here. So we'll go back to Scratch and we'll add that now. So we're going to go into our operators. We're going to grab a join block here and pop that in there. Then we're going to go back in sensing. We're going to grab this answer one here, pop it in here, and then just click where it says Apple and click in there and then change that to hi. And what we need to do as well is after the hi, just do a space just so they don't join together or you'll have hi and the name as one. So then we'll click off there and we'll test out our code for our chatbot. So we'll click on our sprite. What's your name? All right, Matt. And it's hi, Matt. Okay, very good. So now we're going to go back into our lesson, click up the top. We've done that, and we will then click on the tick because we've done that one and scroll down. So by storing the answer in a variable, you can use it anywhere it should be in your project. It's missing the in, but that's okay. Create a new variable called name. If you can't remember how we've created variables in the past project, you can go in here and it's got the steps. So you can follow those. We'll go in now and create a variable called name. So we're going to go back into Scratch. We're going to go into our variables. We're going to make a variable and we're just going to call it name. We're going to make it there and go OK. Now we have name up the top. So we'll go back to our lesson and we'll tick that off there and scroll down. Now, change your chatbot sprite code to set the name variable to answer. So we're going to add set name to answer in between the ask and the say block. So we'll go in there and we'll also change answer in our join block to name as our variable. Sounds like a few steps, but let's see how we go. So we'll go back into our chatbot and we're going to then go set name to, and then we're going to get our sensing and change it from 0 to answer. We're going to take this answer out and chuck that away. Then we're going to go back into variable, grab name from here and put it in there. So now if we click and test by clicking on our chatbot character Terra, what's your name? Matt. We'll see it says hey, hi Matt, but it also has up here in the variable Matt. So if I'm using it later on in the project, you'll remember my name. So now we've done that step, we'll go back into our lesson. So click up the top and click on the tick and your code should work as before. Your chatbot should say hi using the name you type in, which is good. So test your program again. Notice that the answer you type in is stored in the name variable. It is also shown in the top left-hand corner of the stage. To make it disappear from the stage, go to the variables blocks section and click on the box next to name so that it is not marked. So if we go back into Scratch, we can also untick that and it'll disappear from the top corner like so. It's no longer up here. Very good. So I'll go back into our lesson. We'll go to the first challenge, more questions. Okay, the challenge, more questions. Program your chatbot to ask another question. Can you store the answer to this new question in a new variable? So the question here they've asked is, where do you live? I've never been to Stockport. So you can try asking this same question. So I might add this one to mine, but if you think of any other questions you'd like to try, you can definitely do those. So I'll quickly add this one to it and show you how. We'll go back into our Scratch project. And just at the bottom, we're going to be very, very tricky and copy these over. So we're going to duplicate those and not do that. And we're going to change what's your name to where do you live? And then we're going to create a new variable called place. We're going to untick place. And then we're going to set place as answer, because answer will change to the most recent question we've done. So it won't answer for what's your name. And then we're going to join place instead of name. So we'll get rid of this copy of name. And we're going to change to I've never been to. And remember the space after to, or it'll join all together. So now we'll test again. So we're going to click on our chatbot sprite. What's your name? And it's Matt. Hi, Matt. Where do you live? I live in the library. Not really, but that's where I live at the moment. I've never been to library. Well, it's a nice place, so you should visit. Okay, so we'll go back to our lesson and we'll scroll down. We've added that question. So if you want to add any more, definitely add more, but we're going to the next step of making decisions. So making decisions, you can program your chatbot to decide what to do based on the answer it receives. First, you're going to make your chatbot ask a question that can be answered with yes or no. So we're going to change your chatbot's code. The chatbot should ask the question, are you okay, name, using the name variable. Then it should reply, that's great to hear, if the answer is received is yes, but say nothing if the answer is no. So, are you okay? Yes, that's great to hear. We'll scroll down. So underneath where we've got our original question and any additional questions, so just add this to the end of it, we're going to ask, join are you okay, name, and wait. If answer equals yes, then say, that's great to hear for 2 seconds. And after we do that, we're going to test your new code properly. You should test it twice, once with the answer yes and once with the answer no, just to make sure it's right. So we'll go in and we're going to do that now. So go into your project. So when going back into the project, we're just going to grab a ask in from our sensing, what's your name? Where it says that, we'll pop that in and we're going to then grab a operator of join. And in our operator, we're going to join are you okay? Don't forget your space at the end. And then we're going to grab our variable for name. So it's asking whatever name we've put in there. Are you okay? And then we're going to go into our control blocks. We're going to grab a if then. And in the if then, we're going to grab an operator for equals and pop that in there. And from there, we're going to, if our answer equals yes, and then we need to grab another answer block. So we can either go into sensing and grab one from here and pop that in there. So if answer equals yes, then we're going to go back into looks. We're going to grab a say for 2 seconds. And we're going to change that to that's great to hear. Okay, so now let's test out our code. So we'll click on our chatbot. Hey, what's your name? It's Matt. Hi, Matt. Where do you live? Oh, I live at the library. So we're going to pop that in there. Are you okay, Matt? Yes, I am. That's great to hear. So that works there. But now if we test it once more, what's your name? I'm going to be Matt again. And then where do I live? Still here at the library. And are you okay? No, not today. And the chatbot doesn't say anything. So that works like that. Very good. So now we're going to go back into our lesson and click up the top. And we'll scroll down. Oh, well, we'll scroll up first and we'll tick that because we've finished that one and scroll all the way down. At the moment, your chatbot doesn't say anything to the answer no. Change your chatbot's code so that it replies, "Oh no," if it receives no as the answer to the "Are you okay?" name. Replace the if-then block with an if-then-else block and include codes that the chatbot can say, "Oh no." So we're going to get rid of our if-then block and replace it with an if-then-else. We're also going to add a say, "Oh no," for 2 seconds. So we'll go back into Scratch now and do that. So we want to keep our operator with our answer and yes, and we also want to keep our say "That's great to hear." We don't need this if-then block, so we'll get rid of that, pop that in there. We'll go back into our control, and we're going to grab an if-then-else block, and we want our answer equals yes up the top again, and say "That's great to hear" again. Then we'll just right-click on our say for 2 seconds block, and we'll duplicate that, pop that underneath. We're going to change it to "Oh no." So now if we go in and we test our chatbot, so click there, what's your name? Matt. Where do you live? Library. Now this time, if we say no, "Oh no," the chatbot responds. So that's working very well. So we're going to go back into our lesson now, scroll up and tick there. Now we're going to scroll back down. So now we're going to test your code. You should get different responses when you answer no and when you answer yes. Your chatbot should reply with "That's great to hear" when you answer yes, which is not case sensitive, and reply with "Oh no" when you answer anything else. So as we tested that, that's what it does. So we can tick that one as well and scroll all the way down. You can put any code inside an if-then-else block, not just codes to make your chatbot speak. If you click your chatbot's costume tab, you'll see that there is more than one costume. So we're going to change your chatbot's code so that the chatbot switches costumes when you type in your answer. So we've got a happy face for "That's great to hear" and a grumpy face for when it's a no. So we're going to change the code inside the if-then-else blocks to switch costume. So we're just going to add a switch costume to nano C or nano D, whereas I'm not using nano, so I'll find out which costumes fit, but we'll go in there and do that now. So I'll go back into Scratch, and then we're going to go into our costumes and just have a look at which ones we've got. So I've got a smile and terror for A, and a really happy terror for B, an excited terror for C, and a not so happy one for D. So I think we'll need a happy B and a grumpy D. So terror B will be our happy and terror D will be our grumpy. So we'll go in and do that now. So go back into our code and we're going to grab our looks and we're going to switch costume inside of our say "That's great to hear." And we want that to be terror B. And then we're going to grab a switch costume to terror D for the "Oh no." So now we'll test that again. So we'll click on terror. What's your name? And it's Matt. Where do we live? The library. Are you okay? Yes. Looking very happy. And now if we test it again, still happy. Well, we can fix that afterwards, I think. So, hi, Matt. End at the library. Let's see the no. Oh no, looking a bit grumpy there. So now if we want to, at the very top of our code, we can switch costume to, so I'll sneak that one in there, back to terror A. So when we restart the program each time and click on terror, she'll go back to her normal face. And stop that for now and we'll go back into our project. So we'll scroll all the way up because we've done that and we'll click the tick. And we'll scroll down. Have you noticed that after your chatbot's costume has changed, it stays like that and doesn't change back to what it was at the beginning? You can try this out. Run your code and answer no, so that your chatbot's face changes to an unhappy look. Then run your code again and notice that your chatbot does not change back to looking happy before it asks your name. So to fix this problem, add this chatbot code to switch costumes at the start when the sprite is clicked. When this sprite is clicked, switch costume to nano A. And just before our ask what's your name. And then it'll go back to normal face, which we've just done before that step, which was, Anyway, so we'll just tick that one off. But if you want to, there are the steps for how we did it. So I'll tick that there. And now we're going to scroll down, and the next challenge is more decisions. So we'll click on more decisions and program your chatbot to ask another question that can be answered with yes or no. Can you make your chatbot respond differently depending on which answer it receives? Would you like to hear a joke? So if you can think of any yes-no answers that you could add to your chatbot, you can do that now. Think up some creative ones, maybe choose your best joke to add in there with that question. So I'll leave that one for you to see if you can figure out on your own and see how you go. But hopefully you can come up with some really good ones. So we're going to now go to our next step, which is changing locations. So under changing location, you can also program your chatbot to change its location. Can you program your chatbot to ask, do you want to go to the moon? And then change the backdrop when the answer is yes. So if you think you can do that, try that now, or we can go on to the hints. So under I need a hint, your chatbot should ask, do you want to go to the moon? And if you answer yes, should switch the backdrop to the moon. So if you think from these steps you can do it on your own, try now. We'll try the next step in the hints. So with the next step in the hints, here are the code blocks you need to add to your chatbot code. Switch backdrop to moon, ask, do you want to go to the moon? And wait. If answer equals yes, then, so if you think from that, you can figure it out, see how you go, or we'll go to the last step and show us how. So we'll go there now. So this is what your code should look like. Ask, do you want to go to the moon? And wait. If answer equals yes, then switch backdrop to moon. So we'll add that to ours now. We'll go back into Scratch. And we'll just scroll down because our code's getting quite lengthy now. We're going to sensing, and we're going to ask, would you like to go to the moon? Now we're going to grab our control blocks and an if then. And then we're going to grab our operator, and we want an equals, and we want our sensing for our answer. And if the answer equals yes, then we're going to go to our looks, but we're going to have to choose our backdrop now. And we're going to go switch backdrop to moon because we've already got another one in there. If you look under your backdrops, we've got both moon and space. So we'll go back into our code for Terra, and we'll test that out now. So if we click on Terra, we'll answer all our questions. So what's your name, Matt? And where do you live? And are we okay? We are okay. And would you like to go to the moon? Yes. And look, we're now at the moon and we're looking pretty happy. Very good. So now we're going to go back to our lesson. So I'll click up here. And we've done that step, so we can click it. So we'll scroll down. Now you need to make sure your chatbot starts in the right location when you click on it to talk to it. Add this block to the top of your chatbot code. So when this right-clicked, switch backdrop to space. So just like changing the costume for our character, we also need to switch the backdrop. So we'll go back into Scratch, and we're going to scroll to the top and switch backdrop to, and we'll change it from moon to space. There we are. So now when we click to start again, we'll go back to where we were. Okay, so now we're going to go back into our lesson and give that a tick and scroll down. Test your program and answer yes when the chatbot asks if you want to go to the moon. You should see that the chatbot's location changes. So we've done that. And if you want to do it again, you can try that now, and then we'll give that a tick. You can also add the following code inside the new if block to make the chatbot jump up and down 4 times if you answer yes. So we want to add a repeat block, and we want to change y by 10, and then we want to wait 0.1 seconds and change y by -10, and then wait 0.1 seconds. And this repeat of y-axis up and y-axis down will make our character jump. So let's try that now. So we're going to go back into Scratch. I'm going to scroll all the way down to where our moon is. I'm going to grab a control. And we're going to grab a repeat block. We want to repeat 4 times. We also want 2 wait blocks, so we'll pop those in there now. And we'll change those to 0.1 and 0.1. Then we want to go into our motion. We want to change Y by, put that above. We want another change Y by, and we want it by 10 and also by -10. So now we can test out our Terra chatbot. So click there and we'll go through all our different ones. And each time you do it, you can change your name and where you live, whatever you want to do. We'll put yes in. We're happy and we're on the moon and we're jumping up and down. Very good. So we'll go back to our lesson now and we'll tick that off there. And then the final challenge is finish your chat. So in challenge finish your chatbot, use what you've learned to finish creating your interactive chatbot. Here are some ideas. Do you want your chatbot to say, do you want to sing with me? So you can do a song. Should I dance? Maybe jump up and around the screen. Should I put on my hat? Maybe put a hat on your character, change some costumes. Once you've finished your chatbot, get your friends to have a conversation with it. Do they like your character? Can they spot any problems? So think of any other ideas that you can make your chatbot do, ask other questions, change backgrounds, whatever you want to do. Be very creative, and then we'll see what's next. So with our what next, try the paint box project, where you will create your own painting program. Click on the green flag to start. Use the mouse to move the pencil and hold down the left mouse button to draw. Click on a color to change pencils. Click on the eraser to change to it and use it to erase your work. To clear the page, click on the cross. So I'll quickly test that out now. So green flag. You can draw around with some blue, maybe some green. Change how big it is. Bigger pencil, and we want to get rid of some of that. We want to clear the whole page. Very cool. So that's what we'll be doing for our next lesson, lesson 5. So let's see what's next now. Congrats, project completed. So you've now completed project number 4. So till next time, I hope to be seeing you all and enjoy the rest of your day.